Good evening. Welcome to North West Tonight with Annabelle Tiffin. Our top story. Former Mayor of Liverpool, Joe Anderson, and politician Derek Hatton are charged with bribery offences. A total of 12 people have been charged. Mr Anderson said on social media that he'll fight to clear his name. Also tonight, warnings over the dangers of nasal spray tans. Our special report shows the unregulated products are widely available across the region. Can the Clarets prevail in their promotion push? A famous fan gives their take on Burnley's championship chances.
We've drawn 14 games, 11 of them 0-0. I've seen 7 of them personally.
Signing off after 23 years, Lollipop legend John says goodbye to the school children of Sale.
And it was a wet start for some, a lot of cloud around, brightened up in some places. Generally, though, a lot of grey weather today. Good news, though, for the weekend. So join me at the end of the programme. I'll give you all the details.
The former Mayor of Liverpool, Joe Anderson, and the ex-Deputy Council leader, Derek Hatton, are among 12 people who've been charged with bribery. The charges come after a long-running investigation by Merseyside Police into allegations concerning the awarding of Liverpool council contracts. Our Merseyside reporter Andy Gill joins us from Liverpool now. And Andy, there's some very high-profile Liverpool politicians and officials that have been charged here.
That's right, Annabelle. Liverpool Council these days based in the Cunard building behind me here. Joe Anderson was the Labour leader of the council between 2010 and 2012. That's when he became the city's first elected mayor. He stood down from that role in 2020 when first arrested as part of these investigations. Mr Anderson said on social media today that he was innocent and he would fight to clear his name. Derek Hatton was the deputy leader here in the mid-1980s when militant tendency were in control of the council. He became a property developer and a radio presenter after his career as a politician. Also arrested today, 2 former officers of Liverpool Council. Nick Kavanagh was the Director of Regeneration until 2021, and also a man called Andrew Barr, who was an Assistant Director here at the council.
So, Andy, just tell us exactly who else has been charged.
Well, these charges all relate to alleged events between 2010 and 2020, as well as Joe Anderson facing bribery and misconduct charges. His son, David Anderson, has also been charged today, and as well as Derek Hatton being charged, his wife, Sonia Hatton, is facing a misconduct charge. We've spoken already about Nick Kavanagh and Andrew Barr, the former officers of the council. 2 brothers, Julian and Paul Flanagan, have also been charged. They run a construction company in Liverpool. 4 other people facing charges too. Philippa Cook and Alex Croft facing bribery charges, and Adam McLean and James Shalaka also facing charges in that case of conspiracy to commit bribery. Liverpool Council, in a short statement today, said it's always supported the police investigation and will continue to do so. All 12 of these people have not appeared in court yet. They've only just been charged. They're due to make their first court appearance at Preston Magistrates, and that's due to be on March the 28th. Annabelle.
Andy, thanks very much. We will continue to follow that story on North West Tonight and also on Politics North West on Sunday, when we'll also discuss the government's latest plans for investing in local neighbourhoods. That's 10 o'clock on BBC One. Let's get a roundup of some of the day's other news now. And a man arrested after a 10-year-old girl was killed after being struck by a car on a sports pitch in Cumbria has been released under investigation. Poppy Atkinson was at a football training session at Kendal Rugby Club on Wednesday evening when she died. Tributes have come in from all of the community. Greater Manchester Police are investigating allegations of financial misconduct at the University of Greater Manchester, previously known as the University of Bolton. The allegations were published in the online newspaper The Manchester Mill. Speaking in Parliament, the Bolton West MP Phil Brickles said the allegations had significantly damaged its reputation in recent weeks. The university says it has launched an independent investigation. Plans have been submitted to install a bronze statue of a Viking ruler near Tynwald Hill in the Isle of Man. King Orry is credited with playing a key role in establishing the Manx legal system. If approved, the tribute could be in place for Tynwald Day in July. A gang of 8 men who used a utility company to dig up electricity cables to power cannabis farms has been sentenced this afternoon. Liverpool Crown Court heard how the men were paid to do the work by Albanian gangsters. Our reporter Phil Cunliffe joins us from Liverpool and can tell us more now. Phil.
Well, Annabelle, this is a very unusual story, one of deception and theft. Audacious crimes carried out in broad daylight and in plain sight. Ross McGinn, who's from Huyton in Liverpool, and Andrew Roberts from Wigan were directors of a utility firm. Their company, Elevate, was registered with Companies House, and while they did some legitimate groundwork, they also used it as a front for carrying out criminal activity. The men and 6 accomplices would turn up in a liveried van disguised as a professional group of workmen. They would start digging up the street or pavement. They would set up barriers. Sometimes they would put closure signs out. They were wearing high-vis jackets. And to make it all appear genuine, when challenged, they would say that they were undertaking ducting work. What they were doing, in fact, was connecting the mains power to a nearby empty property to effectively steal electricity to help grow illegal cannabis. Now, none of the men were trained, and this was very dangerous work. As you can imagine, police have released footage, in fact, of one man setting off a small explosion. They also found a photo of Andrew Roberts sporting a very serious burn to his forehead.
So, Phil, tell us more about who was actually paying them to do this.
Well, the gang was run by Albanian OCGs, organised crime groups. They needed the electricity to basically power up their network of cannabis farms across the country. Now, the court was told that each farm had thousands of plants and each crop had an estimated street value of between £7 and £22 million. They got away with it for almost 4 years before arrests were made, including Ross McGinn at his home. Police launched Operation Spark, and they uncovered the fact that this group were connecting properties to the electricity grid all over the country.
We were then able to identify 100 cannabis farms nationally. 12 of those were in the northwest, and those cannabis farms led to approximately £21 million worth of recovery of cannabis, and that's cannabis that would have flooded the streets of our community.
Judge David Potter said each defendant was motivated by greed. Ross McGinn broke down as he was sentenced to 5 years and 4 months. Andrew Roberts got 6 years. The other 6 remaining gang members were given lesser sentences.
Phil, thanks very much. A widow from Stockport, whose husband was caught up in the Post Office Horizon scandal, says financial redress needs to be sped up for victims. Terry Walters lost his business and family home in the scandal, and his offer of compensation only came through after he died last month. Well, today it was his funeral. Emma Simpson has the story.
You've got some lovely cards here, haven't you?
Janet and Terry Walters were married for 48 years, through the best and worst of times.
Terry, after his stroke, getting better.
He'd suffered years of ill health after losing his post office, livelihood and home.
He sent me a Valentine card.
Oh.
I wrote it for him because he'd gone by then.
And just a few days later came his first offer of compensation, a year after his claim was submitted.
Terry got his first offer of compensation after he died.
Yes. Yeah.
And what would it have meant to him to have that offer in full before he died?
Well, I think it would have been a great relief to him, you know, to know that he'd actually achieved what we've been hoping to achieve all these years.
About a year after losing his branch, Terry became one of the first sub-postmasters to join forces with campaigner and fellow victim Sir Alan Bates, helping to expose the scandal.
All these years we've kept quiet about everything that happened to us, and to have that, a big institution such as the Post Office, come along and accuse you of doing something It was devastating, really, and humiliating.
But Janet, aged 68, is talking about it now. Terry's offer was far less than they'd hoped for.
I thought, enough's enough now. You know, we've got to do something about it positive. And that's why I decided to speak out about it, really, and for others in the groups, so people have a chance to move on with their lives. I mean, 17 years out of somebody's life is a long time.
The government said it was sorry to hear about Terry's death and pointed out that it had doubled the amount of payments paid out since the election. For Janet, an interim sum has helped, but she says she won't scatter Terry's ashes until he's got his compensation in full.
Emma Simpson reporting. Now, a woman says she felt like she was suffocating after suffering an allergic reaction to an unlicensed nasal tanning spray. Edith Eagle bought it online, and there are now fears these unregulated products are making their way into high street salons. Will Higgins has this report.
A viral trend. Nasal tanners. They claim a spray in each nostril is a quick and easy way to get a tan. But what do people actually know about them?
If you use them, you're going to get such a nice tan, but then they don't tell you the other things about it.
It's interesting.
Why?
Just you don't know what's in them, do you?
I didn't have any bad reactions. I just stopped using them.
I used to.
And they're expensive as well.
The active ingredient in these unlicensed products is melanotan 2, an artificial substance which stimulates your cells to make your skin look darker. To intensify the tan, it's often suggested to use alongside exposure to UV rays, including sunbeds. Edith Eagle used nasal tanners for the first time on holiday. Days later, she was taken to hospital after an allergic reaction she believes is linked to the spray.
My neck was so swollen, my face, my neck, and everything was just one, like, I can't even explain it. But I was suffocating inside. It was as if I was drowning within my own body. And the only different thing that I did, which I've never done before, was this, taking this spray. And when I told my consultant, he said, "What is it?" But of course there was nothing on it apart from a pretty label on the front. No ingredients whatsoever. And that was a frightening thing.
It's illegal to sell medicinal products containing melanotan 2 in the UK, and action is taken against their sale, but nasal sprays are an unregulated area. They're readily available online, but how easy are they to buy in person?
Have you got any nasal sprays?
Yeah, we have. Use it every 12 to 24 hours, so two sprays up your nose.
Are they just the normal ones, or are they?
Quadruple strength. You'll start getting results in about 1 to 2 weeks. You just have it every morning, every night.
One each time?
Yeah, just one exact same, take it the exact same way.
See ya.
No worries, take care.
That's another one bought. It's £25 from under the counter. It's a triple strength, and there's no ingredients or instructions on this one like the others.
We had our 10 purchases bought from the high street and online tested. They found that the level of melanotan 2 varied significantly, and in some samples the ingredient couldn't be detected at all.
We don't know what else is in there. We've only tested for one compound, which is the melanotan. There could be other things in there, things that aren't necessarily good for you or could be toxic. Any unlicensed product comes with a whole host of dangers. There's no safety data, there's no long-term studies as to the impact of this upon people's health. I think my advice to anyone who's acquired a sample like this would be don't take it, get rid of the sample immediately and report wherever you acquired that sample from.
I mean, they are literally anonymous, aren't they, these? You know, you've absolutely no idea what's in that.
The popularity of these products is something that concerns cancer charities.
The latest data that we've seen shows that skin cancer rates are 13% higher here in the Northwest than the All England average. And I think that's reflecting the desire of people here in the region to have that glow. And in the short term, people might not see any ill effects of this, but actually in the long term, all of these things are increasing your risk of getting skin cancer.
We asked the shops we purchased from why they were selling unlicensed products and what assurances they had that the sprays were safe. They didn't respond. So, although they might promise a golden glow, the true cost could be much darker. Will Higgins, BBC North West Tonight.
Now, a new agreement has been made to clean up the River Mersey. The amount of raw sewage spilling into rivers and seas doubled in 2023. Today, the Mayor of Liverpool City Region has committed to a 5-year plan with United Utilities and the Mersey Rivers Trust to reduce sewage discharges and to improve water quality by 2030. More now from our environment correspondent, Judy Hobson.
The Mayor of the Liverpool City Region has a big ambition. He wants a discharge-free Mersey.
Today's the first step in a plan to see our river recover, and the River Mersey has been the lifeblood of our fortunes for centuries, and yet we've seen over decades people dumping everything into it, including raw sewage, but toxic waste from industry, and we're determined to try to do our little bit to see it fully recover.
Now there's a landmark agreement between the Mayor, the Mersey Rivers Trust and United Utilities to clean up the water here. But it's not going to be easy. In 2023, sewage was discharged into England's rivers and seas for more than 4 million hours. And here in Merseyside, the outdated sewage network is struggling to cope with the population increase and climate change.
Here in Merseyside, we have what we call a combined system. So essentially, over 80% of our sewers are taking both sewerage water and rainwater together. Sewers are never more than 15% full. What causes a big problem is the amount of rainfall, and we're seeing more than we've ever seen before. So we've got to make sure that we're working together in partnership with the Mayor, with the local authority and with other businesses to essentially say, how are we going to make sure we've got the infrastructure that we need?
So the Mersey's come a long way since the mid-80s when the river was biologically dead. There was no fish in the river at all. Now we're seeing nearly 60 species of fish in the Mersey estuary behind us, and things are really improving, but there is still a lot more to do. And it's not just about water quality, there's also issues around flooding. So there's a lot of work to do still to improve the water environment of the city region for people and for wildlife.
And these local fishermen agree there have been improvements to the Mersey over the past 3 decades.
I was born down here just a couple of doors up there, and it was a lot worse than it is now. Believe me, because you had all these ICI and Albright Wilsons tipping all sorts of acids and chlorine in the river to get rid of it.
There's dolphins coming up, there's seals coming up. We've even had salmon in the locks. If you get me change of clothes, I'll dive in now.
It's hoped that this new partnership will build on decades of progress and improve the health of local waterways. Judy Hobson, BBC North West Tonight, Widnes.
Loads of important matches across the EFL this weekend, and Burnley's match at home to Luton in the Championship is right up there. It's a 3-horse race now for 2 promotion places between the 3rd place Clarets plus Leeds and Sheffield United. So what's the mood like at Turf Moor? Well, I asked celebrity fan, North West Tonight legend and Radio 5 Live Late Show presenter Tony Livesey.
It's such a curious season. It is a 3-horse race. I think some Burnley fans just want Leeds to get on with it and get away, and we'll just try and haul Sheffield United in, but I can't expect since Perry Mason, and people are whinging. And when you look at this, when you drill down into the stats, we've drawn 14 games, 11 of them 0-0. I've seen 7 of them personally. It's hard work. If anyone wants to see your team concede, but there's a school of thought that now we've conceded, then they'll relax a little bit more and maybe push forward a little bit more. But towards the end, we were celebrating blocks in the penalty box like we'd scored. It was that much of a big deal to keep those clean sheets. But we've got, when you look at the individual players, we've got some real talent on that pitch. They just need to gel. I'm not buying into the Scott Parker boring business though. We're 3rd with a really good chance of getting to the Premier League, and we've got to be happy with that.
This was Ashley Barnes' first goal for the club in 2014. The veteran striker, who's won the Championship twice with Burnley, returned in January after a year and a half at Norwich and wants more success.
Everyone lives and dies football, Burnley Football Club. That's what this town has, everything. And we've got 11 left, and we'll give it a good go.
Do Burnley belong in the Premier League?
Burnley's, I think, the only town in the Premier League history where you can stand on a hill and see the whole thing. It's so small, is Burnley, and it sits like a ship in dry dock, Turf Moor, and the fortunes of the town and its people fluctuate with the football club. They're as one, and now, well, no, they're not as one, because some people think we're great at the moment and then half the crowd are asleep. So that's the problem. But, you know, kick one and they all limp, as a former manager used to say.
Liverpool boxer Natasha Jonas takes on WBA title holder Lauren Price tonight in a world title unification fight at the Royal Albert Hall. 40-year-old Jonas, herself a two-weight world champion, is on a 5-fight winning run since claiming her first world title just over 3 years ago. I can walk and talk at the same time.
That's
People
very good.
don't think that could happen.
Luke Littler, no stopping him, is there?
He's great.
He is really great. There is stopping somebody. That's a terrible link, but you'll see what I mean in a minute. A school in Trafford has said goodbye to a much-loved lollipop man, John Astley, who won a BBC North West Tonight Christmas star back in 2017. You probably presented it to him, didn't you?
No.
Oh. He's helped children cross the road in Sale for the last 23 years. Bet he wished you had. Anna Jameson joined him before he hung up his lollipop for good.
Have a good day.
John Astley is not only a hit with Sale grammar pupils, but morning commuters too.
I hope you have a good time. See ya. He goes past every morning with his horn blasting like that.
And the beeping's become a bit of a craze.
I thought, you look so flipping miserable, you know. So I started waving to a few cars, and it just escalated beyond all reason. You know, everyone was starting to wave back to me, and then I started stopping in the middle and saying, thank you. See you, mate, thank you.
Now, after 23 years of loyal service, John's decided to hang up his high-vis.
I've loved doing the job so much, but Linda's been going on at me about, well, we could go out more. And she was right, you know, we could now. But I said it's just so hard for me because I love the children, the school staff have been great. You know, it's just been marvellous, it really has.
8 years ago, John won a coveted prize.
So I decided to nominate you for a BBC North West Tonight Christmas Star Award. And I am delighted to tell you that you have been chosen as the recipient of this award. So it is my pleasure and my privilege to present you with your award now. Congratulations and thank you, John.
And the love from pupils continues today.
Thank you so much for always talking to me whenever I have my folder. Hope you have a happy retirement.
Oh, thank you, love. Thank you.
The impact he makes is just huge. He tells jokes, he has a nice chat every morning, and it's just really nice. So, yeah, we're going to miss him a lot.
And there was even time for a quick celebration. He is irreplaceable, isn't he?
He is, absolutely. You know, it's not just our students, it's all those young primary students as well. You know, they want to go past that crossing because they want to see John in the morning. And John's done that for 23 years for thousands and thousands of young people. We're really grateful.
And the plan for retirement?
There's always something you can turn to, isn't there? You know what I mean? You could do a bit of voluntary work or something like that, you know. So I wouldn't mind doing that.
But for now at least, the 6:45 a.m. alarm clock is switched off. Anna Jameson, BBC North West Tonight in Sale.
Good work, John. Well done. Congratulations. Right, let's have a look at the weather. Oh, that looks a bit grim behind you, that one, anyway.
Grim start. That's exactly what it was, Annabelle, wasn't it? Caught in the rain this morning, early doors on the Wirral. Thank you for sending that photograph in. It did brighten up a little bit. We did hang on to a lot of the cloud, but it brightened a little. Alison, thank you for your lovely photograph as ever. If you want to send me your photos in, do join me on socials or become a BBC Weather Watcher and let me know what it's like where you are. Now, this weekend, I'm hoping for some glorious photographs as it's going to feel a lot like spring. Beautiful weather, spring weekend, sunny and mild, temperatures getting to about 16 or 17 degrees. We're sandwiched, for once, fronts to the north, fronts to the south, affecting the north and south. The northwest is best, as we already know, and we're going to have a decent amount of sunshine. So a really pleasant weekend on the cards. Still, though, we've got a few showery outbreaks of rain just affecting parts of Merseyside and the Isle of Man. The cloud from that front early today continues to clear to the north. Behind it, we will have clear skies. There will be some patches of fog forming as well, and temperatures still on the mild side. Lows between around about 6 and 10 degrees. 10 is 50 in Fahrenheit. The breeze remains mostly gentle. Now, any fog that you get first thing in the morning will continue to lift and clear, and it's going to be a dry and a fine day. Good spells of sunshine. Might just turn a little bit milky as we head through the afternoon with some upper-level cloud. But temperatures, I mean, look at that. Preston, 18 degrees. It's going to feel gorgeous. And Wisterson, thank you, Dave. Last day for you, for a shout-out. More on that in a minute. Now, as we head then Sunday, still mild, but we start next week, we're going to start to pull down this more northerly Arctic air. Now, it's not going to be bitterly cold, but temperatures are going to be around about 8 degrees, so half of what we're going to get over the weekend. So you will notice a chill in the air. There is a risk of wintry showers. We'll talk about that next week. But like I said, thank you to Dave for sending in his suggestion of Wisterson. I hope I'm saying that right,
Yeah.
Dave. If you'd like to nominate your town name, then do send me an email. nwt@bbc.co.uk.
Can I nominate?
Go on.
West Orton.
West Orton.
Do I have to email you?
You do, yes.
Just tell her now, she'll
Seems
do it.
pointless.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Take care.